one thing you've got to remember on an acoustic guitar, especially on a classical guitar, is that simply lifting the finger up to do that won't make enough sound. You've got to remember to actually pull down. So in actual fact, you're plucking the string with the finger that presses the first of the two notes. So my finger is moving down into the next string. So that's the basic hand position, that we've got a straight line here, a good hand position, the thumb is in a good place. We shouldn't have the elbow out in any way, like this. Yeah, the elbow is hanging. Imagine there's a weight tied to your arm and keeping the elbow down like that. The elbow's not tucked in as such, it's just loosely hanging. We want to make sure the string is being plucked by the finger alone and not by some rotation of the wrist like this. And it's much harder to get the weight right when plucking only with the finger. So what you're going to see is the finger pulling down like this instead of the finger staying still and the wrist pulling for you. It's very much a finger action. And you've got to be very, very relaxed to it, otherwise the finger starts to stick and you find that you haven't got control to go through the string at the right time, and you'll get quite a nasty, aggressive sound. And once that's all right, I want you to be sure that that your finger is landing on the next string. So not like this, not pulling up the way. Now there is a place for that in classical guitar technique, and you can think of rest strokes and free strokes, but just for the left hand. It's quite similar, but what you've got to be able to do very well and in a very relaxed way is the equivalent of a rest stroke. So landing on the next string. Now let's try the same thing now with the third finger. We're going to put the first finger on the first fret, and we're going to do the same exercise. Now if you find that stretch is a little bit too much, then you can either go higher or you can put the first finger on the second fret. So in other words, make life a bit easier for yourself. Don't struggle with a big stretch just for the sake of it, because that's not the main objective here. I'll do it just now. Okay, so the fourth finger. Try the third finger. Also to the first. So the first finger remains on. Then the second finger. Go back to the fourth finger now. Now we're going to keep going with the fourth finger, but we're going to put the second finger on. If you're practicing it higher, obviously you'll be getting different notes, but that's okay. And also if you're using less span, that's fine. You could have the second finger on the third fret and practice this. That's absolutely fine. If you can manage the stretch, then do it this way. If not, doesn't matter. And now the third finger to the second finger. Back to the fourth finger. Now we're going to put the third finger on. So we're still pulling off with the fourth finger, but it's now with the third finger, and that gives you all of the combinations. So we've done each finger to an open string, and then we've done 4-1, 3-1, 2-1, 4-2, 3-2, 4-3. So 6 combinations in addition to the open string combinations. Now you can order those combinations to focus on strengthening particular things. So if you want to strengthen the 4th finger, which is usually a good idea, you can do lots of 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, back to 4-2 again, then maybe go back to 4-3. You can, of course, once you get good at it, you can go faster. 4-3 is a very good one to stay on for a bit longer to test. And that's as far as I want to go with pull-offs today. Now what we'll do with the hammer-ons is again look at some preliminary exercise. We're going to start with the 4th finger again, and we're going to start by hammering on the 4th fret. Like that. I like to start with the 4th finger because slurs are a great way of strengthening that finger and strengthening that weak part of the hand. So again, there's no right hand involvement. We're not going. We're just doing the slur part of it. What I really want you to focus on here, obviously we've got the checklist, the hand position checklist. That's all the same as before, and we want to not be doing this, using the whole arm to help us. That makes it it makes it easier to get a nice strong hammer on. But we need to be training the fingers to do it on their own. So try and reduce as much as possible the arm and hand movement. Now, in order to get the sound, in order to get enough volume, we need to focus on the speed of the movement. Now by that, I don't mean the speed of the notes, or the speed at which we play the notes. So I want to focus on making the movement extremely fast, but I'm going to keep to this tempo, a slow tempo, able to get the sound from the speed of the movement, not from the height of the movement. Back to the idea of a 1-inch punch. However, if you find that that's simply impossible at the moment, increase the size of the movement and focus on accuracy and the speed of the movement. But once you've got that, you then want to start reducing the movement again. It's a bit like the thing I said about getting the stroke right. That in order to, in the right hand, in order to make sure we're playing from the bass knuckle, we can exaggerate the follow through for a bit until we're doing that properly, and then we need to reduce it again for the sake of efficiency. And now with the 2nd finger. Okay, now we're going to keep the 1st finger on, and because many hammer-ons, like the pull-offs, actually are movements that combine 2 fingers, we need to practice hammering on from another finger. But again, we're not going to use the right hand at all. We're not going to pluck the note before. We're just going to put the finger on, 1st finger in this case, and we're going to practice hammering on the 4th finger. And that's quite a good movement to